it's their responsibility to make sure that announcements are done, the corporation is updated, because we don't want to see a riot or people blocking the road because of power. And when actually in charge of the area, we can have a brief introduction. But before, we also came with the Mukono team that handles sub-application of the tunyunyudde nti mu nnaku nga 4 line ejja kubezeewo substation yeze Sattu ziddeko bakasitoma abo emitwalo 12,800 babeere nga tebatataganyizibwa, naye kati batataganyizibwamu ddala ba domestic betugezezaako kusupplyinga wadde bali kusupply za road shading. Tukubiriza abantu baleme kuva mu mbeera bagumiikirize paka line lwenaddawo ne substations demo kukola abantu bafuna amasanyalaze. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalidde. As we work with our sister company and also our supply to the community and the country life. Stop the damage on the mass. Because every month we sell about 16 million units. 6 days. That means about 4 million units have been lost. 16 million
units. Our host on the other side, because I know some issues could have arisen. Of course, from here shortly after, we shall kindly, I can see my customers have some.
They are going to respond to you. Any other questions? On social spectrum, social media, and other spaces, things like politics. I am sure these guys will not get some good oxygen to breathe. As the infrastructure cannibals, because they live their lives. I think I'm going to pick. Thank you very much, engineer. Raise a hand. You know that is when the mission ends without really wasting a lot of time. We are having one more last item. We would prefer if you could occupy the front spaces, and those I will update you as soon as the unity set comes. Okay, without much ado, allow me, in case engineer calls you to come and explain, to localize the problem and take us through the questions, but also give us a presentation.
Save your production, save your business, but also make sure that we are running a sustainable electricity. So, Jonathan, say we are with you and we are trying to do everything possible to ensure.
And you know, when we are operating on alternative sources internal like diesel generators, the operation cost goes high. So do we have an alternative that we can rely on until the restoration is done? Please advise on that.
Yeah, we manufacture mostly shoes, and given this period of time is when the production is high. We are greatly affected by the power shutdown, and my main question is, how swift is power going to be restored? Because ideally, the machines we use are heavy-duty machines. They cannot just run on simple generators.
My name is Gaurav Dwivedi. I'm from Tango Steels, and we are one of the large power consumer in this country. We are having 2 factories. One is in Iganga, another one is in Lugazi. And as we know that we have got some of the power issues at Lugazi. So it is a big loss on our side also. And we are facing this challenge of vandalism for our Lugazi factory from long time. As personally also we have addressed this issue on a personal level also, and we have tried to mobilize the local police also to guard our line. But I want to request UECDL to please guard the line very carefully, because the vandalism happened and the days of the losses which we are bearing, it is unbearable. And it is a huge loss there on our side. So I request UECDL that the time you are going to repair the line. By the time, what is the substitute that how we can run our plant a little bit, because it is a huge loss and we are the primary manufacturer of our steel industry in Uganda. And we are doing 0 to 100% in Uganda from iron ore from Kabale. So this is the one and only one industry, steel industry, which is doing from 0 to 100% in Uganda. And we are the large power consumer. I should not reveal the bill here, but the UDCL team knows that what is the bill we are paying to the UDCL per month. So I request to the team that please allow us to get the substitute. Thank you so much.
Earlier on, when we entered here, we heard that there is some rationing of power from Kira. So, to some extent, for other things, since this has happened, we are running on generator full day. How is the rationing being done? How are some of us going to benefit from the rationing process? Then today morning, we were almost also getting to the shortage of water, because the guys of National Water are saying they are not able to supply water because there is no power to pump the generators. What's the connection or what solution do you guys have to ensure that the water supply is also going to be consistent?
I'm called Nyombi Joseph, Shift Manager in Impala Feeds. We highly concentrate in livestock feeds. Of recent, we got this challenge, but I have a question to UECDL. As the gentleman has said, this is not a planned outrage. My question is, can you draft something we call corrective and preventative action, in that what else at another stage, the same thing happens? How are we going to handle it? Is there a bypass that you can create or form in the future?
My name is Natujja Plant Manager, Paper Toil. I have a kind request. Would the government, since we are working for the government, would the government have, should I say have mercy? Consideration? We have lost too much to pay your bill. Could the government have a small consideration to us when it comes to paying the bill? To the government, we have security group. Where did these people pass? We are looking at the impact. It is impacting the whole of Uganda. We have people who survive with working with this industry. They are down crying. Where did these people pass? Don't you have security guards? What would you have done for this not to happen? And which assurance are we having that after losing close to a week, we are not losing again?
If you see the outage we're experiencing now, if you see the production that the country is losing now, the industries that are down, that are not working, I think this vandalism issue has now become worse. And every stone that was not be turned should be turned now. So that I agree with you, so that we stop this once and for all. The costs are very high even if you wanted to run generators and other sources. But the question is, do you still, even if you wanted to absorb those costs and pass them on to the consumer, to the users of your products, do you have any source that can run your factories? What would be the size of your generators if you want to run all the loads in your factories? So cost aside, but even if feasible, I don't think it's feasible that a factory can run on alternative sources. Power still remains the biggest source. So the costs are high, yes, but that's why we're taking it so serious. We know that not until the network, the main grid network has come on board, you are going to struggle, that you are not going to be able to come up for production. So it still comes to, do you have an alternative for us? We are going to speak into that. Some speaks the same issue and says, this is a peak time. Festive season is here, people want to put shoes, but we don't know when we are going to resume. It's the same thing. You cannot run your machines with other generators, but you need power. There is a need to deploy every technology that there is, increase the vigilance, and we make sure we stop this, because the costs are unbearable for both the government, the economy, but also for you as individual manufacturers. At least I know that large power users in Uganda, the literacy rate is high. This information that you have about the sector is higher than our domestic consumers. I'm sure that you know the setup of the electricity sector, that it is highly regulated. It's a highly regulated sector. That is, it has generation. We have people who are generating electricity, and as it is now in Uganda, we have no problem with generation. We have generators that are putting on the grid capacity that can go up to 2,050 megawatts. So in terms of generation, we are okay. The second sector of the electricity distribution setup is the transmission sector, subsector, which has the role of making sure that power leaves. My minister calls them the labor ward. There is a scenario she used some time back. Power is generated, but it has to move from the generating stations normally are in forests, on river banks, but now power has to come from there into areas at a very high voltage. The impact of this incident means that 3 major substations are affected. There is what we call the Mukono North substation. This one has 9 feeders that come out of it. So Mukono North substation is completely dead. National Water has also started making an alarm that they have challenges. We have Chantian, Quality Plastics Uganda Limited. All these are lines, feeders that come out of this substation. The next substation that is affected is Mukono Central. That one is in the town here, which is purely distribution substation. It has 4 feeders. It has Katosi, Mpoma, Seta, and Mbarara. Now these are our lines as a distribution company. So Mukono substation also does not have its main source of power, which was from this line that was vandalized. Of this incident, how it is affecting us as a distribution company, it's affecting the transmission company, it's affecting the generators because they're also not dispatching energy, it's affecting the large power users who are also not manufacturing, and of course the whole economy for me these 2-3 days. So we have a line that we call it SCORE. It comes from SCORE as an IPP. But also this morning we took a decision that we supply the dedicated line to national water, because we don't want to have also other issues of health. When people start falling sick, that simply comes in because water has become a challenge. And when you look at all the small commercial users, like the mills, SMEs in Mukono, and we put the national water consumption and the domestic around, the 15 MVA that comes from SCORE now is used up.
Maximum load you can put doesn't exceed 20 megawatts. And 20 megawatts is the one that we can able to supply within this area of town, as explained by the engineer. So the beauty, transmission is joining us soon, and we can work on the program to restore the current crisis. But among the issues, since we took over as UECDL, we are now entering in the season for planning for alternative supply at all levels. Because using aerial lining, single line, is not good for the country, is not good for the sector, and not good for the business. So what is the way forward? On the side of Yomosoka, my colleague, On the side of transmission, they are going to brief us, you see, and its instability. Yeah, we are trying to rationalize crisis management. That's what it means. That, as I've mentioned, the 33 kV line cannot manage the load in this place. It is true that area lines cannot supply with stability and continuation without having issues of destabilizing in case of a problem or catastrophe. The N-1 principle. However, what are we doing for the future if this one is restored? We have rolled out our investment plan at 33 to make sure that we reconduct all the feeders that are due for reconducting, especially those feeders that are supplying cities, medium industries. With the large industries, our plan is to enhance dedicated lines with fair stability, plus also dedicated, including N-1. That is for the future.
My name is Richard Masco from Transmission. We feel the pain with you. We know how much in terms of loss you are going through, and we want to give you the assurance that we are not sitting back. We are working day and night to try and make sure we restore the system and we get you back on full supply as before in the shortest time possible.
Early next week, we are looking at Tuesday. I think Tuesday will be 25th of November this year. Thank you very much. One is wondering whether we don't have security. Whether we have security, but within the premises where we have what we call substations. When you go out in the lines, it is impossible to guard each and every pylon. The network stretches across the country. It is not possible to position personnel on each tower. As to what we are doing, we have lived with this problem for some time now, and indeed, that's why we have what we call emergency system restoration towers. These are towers that can be erected and put up in a very short time. If we are to construct a new tower afresh, I'll be telling you that we are going to restore the system maybe in 6 months or 8. But here I am giving you days because we have activated our emergency system restoration plan, which ensures a very short or fairly short duration to restoring power. So again, in addition to having these emergency plans, we are continuously engaging government security agencies. We work with the communities so that we can, in a way, help one another to enforce security across the country, security of the network. We have made progress, but there is still more to do, and we are now trying to convince government to heavily regulate scrap dealers. We also try and paint our own material for easy identification, and to that end, this has helped. But this is a voice that is real. It will take time to eliminate. We can only assure you that we shall do everything in our means to minimize it, but I will be telling you a lie if I say that we shall be able to eliminate it in the short term.
On the system, we are trying as much as possible so that our customers can get power. ERs, those are emergency towers. We don't have enough. We have Rugalambo, they are still in the field. Another one in Masaka, that line of Masaka. So what we have in the store, they are not enough. They have called me to tell the surveyor to start surveying poles. We are going to use poles, 60 feet, so that we restore power back. The whole of Mukono is affected. Some parts, there is no power. Because they are getting power from that T-off. We did a T-off from Owen Falls line, Mukono North, Kampala North, so that can assist this area of Mukono to get enough power.
Now you are here to witness the two towers which are down. And as the foreman has rightly stated, we are trying to find the quickest solution possible to restore supply to the Mukono North substation. And we are looking at Tuesday, that's our target date, hoping all goes well, including good weather. But we think we can make it. Kati tuli ku site, tawa muzirabye ziri wansi, naye tugezaako kukola kyonna ekisoboka okulaba nti tuzaako amasanyalaze mu nnaku nga 4 mu maaso nga ku Lwokubiri awo. Tiimu ziri ready, abamu bali Tororo baloadinga material, endala ziri Kampala. Tumobilizinze resources zonna ezimala okulaba nti tukolera wamu amasanyalaze tulabe nti tugazaako mu nnaku nga 4 mu maaso. nga mu mwezi ogwokubiri kyagwako e Masaka kati tuli wano, then waliwo ne side awo bayitawo Olugalambo era maybe emyaka 2 emabega era kyatuukako e Mukono wenyini wetubadde era nawo tawa zaagwa, so tubadde nabyo n'ebizibu bino kumala ebbanga. Sigamba nti waliwo ebisinze okutukaluubiriza kubanga really nga bwe mbagambye tulina emergency plan kulikusitooyinga system mu nnaku 4 nze ndaba eryo bbanga ttono nnyo kubanga bw'ogamba nti tugizeewo nga bwebadde awo tuba tuli mu myezi 6 nga 8 naye kati bwe mba nkugamba nnaku 4 olaba nti ekyo kitono nnyo wadde ezo ennaku nnyingi ku bantu abakozesa amasanyalaze mu bizinesi, ekyo kyo tukimanyi. Tuyinza okukibalira mu millions nga 5 temporary solution.
Nga UECDL twafunye amawulire nti line eya UECDL transmission yabadde vandalized ekiro ku Lwokuna, era ekyo nga ffe aba UECDL kitukosa nnyo nti bakasitoma baffe abasukka emitwalo 12,800 ab'omu kitundu ky'e Mukono ne ebitundu ebirinaanyeewo bali affected. Kitutawaanyiza kitya nti substation Sattu zikaluubirizibwa kati okuba nzifuna amasanyalaze Mukono North, Mukono Central ne Waligo substation nga zonna ziba zitaaga amasanyalaze agatakka wansi wa MVA megavolts 157 okusobola okuwa bakasitoma amasannyalaze ge twetaaga. Kati olwa vandalism eno eyatuuse ku line ya transmission tusobola kufuna megavolts 15 zokka. Ekitegeeza nti megavolts 90% tuzifunye okusupplyinga bakasitoma baffe, era ba manufacturers abasinga betuziza okusinkana wano n'eri Mukono gye tuva okubategeeza obuzibu obwaleeteddwawo vandalism, nti batuweeyoko obudde nga tukolagana ne Uganda Electricity Transmission Company ngezaawo supply okusobola okufuna megavolts ezo eziwera 10 zetasobola kuba supplyinga nga bakola emirimu gyabwe. Era kya mukisa mubi nti factory ezisinga ennene eziri mu kitundu kati teziriiko, era ne National Water yepampinga amazzi e Katosi nabo era bali affected. Kugaba n'olw'ensonga eyo ekintu kya vandalism kifiiriza kati abakozi bangi abakola mu factory ezo tebakola. National Water tusobola kusindika amazzi kubanga bo ababbi baleese obuzibu line ne zimenyeka. Kugamba kya bulabe nnyo nnyo, era gavumenti eri mu kunoonyereza abantu abo babateeke mu mbuga z'amateeka bavunaanibwe. Naye ng'ate nga ffe ekitongole UDC naffe tufiiriddwa kubanga bakasitoma baffe mugyeko kuba nabo tebakola, naffe ate tetukola kuba naffe tulina okukola atusupplyinga abantu. Kusinziira ku transmission bwe tunnyonnyodde nti mu nnaku nga 4 line ejja kuba ezzeewo, substation ezo 3 ziddeko, bakasitoma abo emitwalo 12,800 babeere nga tebatataganyizibwa. Naye kati batataganyizibwamu ddala ba domestic betugezezaako kusupplyinga wadde bali kusupply za load shedding. Tukubiriza abantu baleme kuva mu mbeera bagumiikirize
paka line benaddawo ne substations demo okukola abantu bafuna amasanyalaze. Amasanyalaze ge tusapplyinga wano mu Mukono ng'eno line eya transmission teriiko eya 132 tugakozesa tuyisa ku distribution line eya 33 kV ate nayo nga tegapiikinga ku main grid egapiikinga mu mukozi omu akola amasanyalaze mu bikajjo owa school yasobodde okutuwa units ezo 15. Kati olw'okubanga bakasita emitwalo 12,800 naye kwabo kuliko ndowooza nga 3 ba factory kati gira emitwalo 12,500 ba domestic. Tugamba katusooke supplying population ennene ate ereme kuleeta insecurity mu kitundu nga amatala tegaliiko oba n'abantu okwekalakaasa. Kati bano ba manufacturers aba 3 phase nababeera affected. Tebasukka 2 naye ate nga yabatwala amasanyalaze amaanyi. Tufiiriddwa nnyo kubanga Mukono industry area tutundawo units nyingi buli mwezi. Era zino ennaku ze tutakoze kubawa amasanyalaze units zigenda okufiirizibwa nazo nyingi ddala. Okusaba kwange nti abantu batugumiikirizeemu bwabeera load shedding ne feeder bakimanye nti tubikolako nga transmission bwezawo line. Ekitundu kino buli mwezi tutundamu miliyoni units ezitakka wansi wa miliyoni units nga 16. Kati bwe tuba tetukoze ennaku 6 ezo miliyoni units nyingi divide by 4 miliyoni units nga 4 n'okusoba. Kati bw'okubisamu price oba ofuna ogenda mu billions of money. Naye tusuubira by Tuesday tujja kuba tumaze okumaliriza ekizibu ekyo. But we've rationalized for the little energy that we have 15 MVA to give the domestic customers such that we don't get other security issues and riots when the population is demanding for power. And we hope, as it has been promised by transmission, that early next week power will be restored. We encourage the population to be calm as we work with our sister company to restore power supply to the community and the country at large. Thank you very much. Every month we sell about 16 million units in this area. Now, if we're off supply for 6 days, that means about 4 million units have been lost. And that one is in billions of money.